What is up YouTube, and welcome back to another Chaos Zero Nightmare video. And today we are talking about the new combatant that you see on your screen here that has joined the fray, and that is Yuki. I'm going to be telling you guys my personal tips and building strategies that I use for her, and how I actually use her in my team comps for this game. Now before we start the video though guys, I want to thank the devs of this game, the developers, for sponsoring this video. Without them, this game wouldn't be here, and I'm having so much fun playing, and I'm going to be showing you guys how you guys can have as much fun as I am with Yuki. So Yuki as a character, she's pretty decent as an AoE character. I'm not going to talk about, if she needs to be buffed or anything like that in this video. I'm just going to be talking about how you want to use her if you already have her. So regardless of what you guys think about her, I'm just going to be talking about how you want to use her. So Yuki as a character, she's very good because she has a mechanic with prepare to subdue, where she can actually draw her own cards, and this will synergize very well because she has this text known as inspiration, and basically whenever you draw a card with inspiration, they get this extra effect. So you do want to pair her with a lot of drawing characters, or you want to put a lot of draw into her deck so she can do it with herself, which is possible because she has a skill to do it, and this will make her discount her cards, do extra damage and stuff like that. Her main role is a DPS character. She does pretty good AoE DPS, and she does okay single target as well. And her ego skill will really complement that because she can do a huge AoE attack, which will move all of your attack cards of this unit in your hand to the top of the draw pile. It'll do extra damage, and then if you have anything to draw those cards right away, you can draw back into them and just chain extra damage as well. She's a very fun character to play in those drawing comps. And the most important cards that you're going to want to utilize, in my opinion, are going to be 1. Prepare to Subdue. This is going to be the most important card that you're going to want to get good epiphanies for. All the epiphanies are pretty good for the most part. I think the best ones are going to be the last one, or even the 4th one here. And the reason why is because you're able to draw basically 2 cards with 1 skill with the last one here. And on the 4th one, you are able to, draw into this and then draw 2 cards right away with the inspiration effect. So inspiration is pretty confusing. Just keep in mind that if you draw the card that has inspiration on it, the inspiration effect will activate. So you have to force your draw and draw that inspiration card. So really good with prepare to subdue. Now for her AoE abilities, the ones that hit the hardest in my opinion and are super important are Iceberg Cleave and also Flash Slash. Now Flash Slash's advantage is that with the Epiphany, you can actually discount this to 0 with the second one, which I like the most. You can also make it do extra damage with the 3rd one, and you can also make it do similar damage but a little bit less with a discounted cost with the 1st one. So all are very good options. The 4th and 5th one, they're okay, but I don't really like using them. This card is absolutely amazing for AoE damage, and also her Iceberg Cleave, even though it doesn't have an Epiphany, this is just so strong because with this inspiration you hit twice with it, and you'll see that it does a ton of damage. So you can kind of see, how her kit plays out. You're using Prepare to Subdue, drawing some of these attack cards, and just getting big benefits. Now in terms of her save data and what I personally like to use, and what I recommend to you guys as well because I found it to be the most effective, is a save data that relies on what I mentioned earlier. Prepare to Subdue and Iceberg Cleave, or Flash Slash if you want, but I think Iceberg Cleave is going to be better for the most part. Now you really want to make sure with this Prepare to Subdue that you do get 2 copies of it. I did get a Divine Epiphany. This is going to be the best target if you can ever choose to Epiphany this card, because this can actually give you an extra AP, which is like the best one. It can, do a lot of other stuff, but the extra AP on this is absolutely crazy. You can get it with this type of Divine Epiphany, the blue and green one. There's also another one you can get it with. I think it's my 3rd deck here. Yeah, this one also gives AP. So you can see there's a lot of options to give it that extra AP. But if you end up getting it, it becomes absolutely amazing. And if you can duplicate it, even if you don't have that Divine Epiphany, it's still very strong. Now, I also recommend trying to duplicate the Iceberg Cleave. This is going to be very, very, very powerful in terms of AoE. It's going to be her best card, in my opinion. And you're just going to make it so that, you're drawing into it as much as you can and spamming it to do a ton of AoE damage. Now for her gear, the only important one is like the weapon. You want to have either the Replica Core, which will boost your attack card damage that you draw for 1 turn, or this other one here. There's a mythic one that will make it so that when you draw by an ability, this will buff all of your attack cards. So yeah, very powerful as well. So this is basically what you want to go for in terms of save data, in my opinion. I forgot to mention when I was looking at it, I kind of noticed this Freezing Blade Epiphany is super strong. You really want to make sure that you try to hit the third one here, which is the one I like the most, or the first one. Even though the second one might be very tempting because you can actually start with this in your hand, you can draw so fast with her that you will eventually get this anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. And also the last one also is tempting because you can activate random inspirations. You're going to be drawing anyways into your cards, so you don't really need that effect. So yeah, that's also a very important card that I forgot to mention, but the save data, like I said, you really want to duplicate Prepare to Subdue and Iceberg Cleave if you can. And Prepare to Subdue, you definitely want to make sure you get a good Epiphany on it and then duplicate it, or get that Divine Epiphany on it as well and get the extra AP if you can. It makes her very good. Now, in terms of her partner, you really want the West Makot partner. It's currently running on her banner. This makes her very strong because it synergizes really, really well with her. You're going to see that the attack cards that you get drawn through your own abilities get extra damage for one turn. And also your inspiration cards get stronger as well. So you can kind of see it's basically made for her. That's why it released with her and it's alongside her banner. So really, really strong on her. So this is going to be, in my opinion, the best setup for me and what I found success with. Is it the best setup overall? You might find some other builds that are cooler or more fun to play or even stronger. That's the beauty of this game. So, if you do find any, let me know in the comments down below. Now, in terms of our memory fragments, this is where it can get pretty interesting. There's multiple options. So if you actually do go the drawing route where you're drawing for yourself and generating a ton of AP, so if you do have this Divine Epiphany, which is what I have, I find that the Bullet of Order set is really good with Blackwing for extra damage. Now, you don't have to run this set if you don't have it available to you, or if you just don't like using it because you have to spam a lot of attack cards and you need a lot of AP. Another good option is what my Renoa is on. You can go the 2 set for attack, you can go the 2 set for crit damage, and even the 2 set for basic damage. This is also pretty solid as well. So that's the equipment set that I recommend on her. Of course, you can run pretty much anything for Chaos because, you're just looking for raw stats to stay alive. But for outside of Chaos, and honestly even for Chaos, I found this to be the best setup that worked for me. Now, in terms of the characters she synergizes with, you're going to want to have 2 teams for her. So the first team is going to be your Chaos team. The Chaos team is going to be with her, and what I like to run with her is Mika. And then the last slot, it's really up to you. It's like a flex slot. You can run Veronica, or you can run something like Calipe. The reason why these characters are so strong with her is because even though they don't really help her draw, they give her so much sustain with shielding and also, healing with Mika. If you're looking for a more aggressive drawing playstyle, then yes, you do want to run Veronica because Veronica can help you draw a lot more, and she's actually really good at making you draw. So it makes it so that you can proc your inspirations a lot more often. If you guys don't have these characters, good options for sustainers would be like Maribel. You can also run something like Cassius for draw, and you can also run something like Ania for even more draw as well. But overall, I'd say for Chaos, you definitely want to focus more on sustain over drawing, because in the Chaos runs, you can make it so that, you can just win off sustaining through the bosses. The drawing is mostly going to be for faster clears. And on the topic of that, we're going to talk about Simulation and Basin. So the characters I like to run with her in that area of content are going to be stuff like Nia, very good with her as well, and even something like a Cassius. You can also run her with your Chaos team for Basin and Simulation as well, and it still works. And it's mostly because, even though she does like people to draw for her, no one hates extra AP, so Mika does generate a lot for her, so you can run Mika with Yuki, and they're still very good together. And Calipe just is really strong because Yuki does have some 2-cost cards she can use that will also proc, her Celestial Vulture Ejection. So that is basically going to be the best team comps for her, in my opinion, that I've found to be the most successful. Obviously, there's a lot of other team comps you can run. If you guys have any other ones, you can also let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, that is pretty much how I recommend using Yuki. She's a very fun character, even though she might not be the best of best DPSs currently in the game. I think there's a lot of different builds to experiment with still. So if you're looking for a very fun character that has a pretty good gameplay loop that can draw a lot for herself and also is pretty AP efficient, then Yuki is definitely the character for you. I will be testing her and trying out more builds for her in the future, and I'll be uploading videos on that, so check those out when they do come out. But yeah, once again, thank you to the developers of CZN for sponsoring this video officially. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.